On this episode of Forever Home, we're finishing the install of the wolf portrait siding on the back of this house as we finish repairing the water damage from the previous challenges that they had. Let's go on up and we'll show you what we're looking like here today and give you a tour. Here we go. So as you may remember, this dirt pile was wrapped up completely against this edge of the house and actually piled up in front of it. And we might have some before pictures here that we can edit in to show you. But what that was allowing to have happen was any water that got down in the dirt, and specifically when the homeowner noticed this downspout was disconnected, the water overflowed onto the ground, got down in the soil, saturated the soil, and it didn't really get as in through the block foundation on the side here, but the face of this is stud framing, wood stud framing. And so with the water straight up against that stucco masonry is not a waterproof product. And it was able to soak in through that, get into the framing members, get into the drywall and the insulation, and start causing them some real challenges on the inside on this corner of the house. So we demoed this corner, we took everything apart, we removed all the water damage and treated everything to be treated, and have rebuilt this. And this is pretty much ready for us to go back with stucco now. But before we can do that, we have to get the back of the house done up. And this has been a project that's sort of grown over time. The initial plan, they were having challenges with the water coming in off the roof, splashing on the patio, and damaging this wood board and batten siding that they've had all across the bottom here. Now, the first thing that we recommended was to have their landscaper come in and actually remove this patio, lower it down 8 inches, so we're down below grade, give us a little bit of a splash zone, so no standing water on top of this, especially in the wintertime with the snow, could run under these doors, because we don't want to have that coming in. There's not a cement pier. Normally what you would have if we were building this today, there would be at least 2 courses of cinder block bringing this up so that we didn't have water damageable materials within that 16 inches of the ground. This house wasn't designed that way. It's a slab and the stud wall comes all the way down, so there's potential for water to get in and damage this wood right here, and that was a big challenge for them. So they asked us to take and come up with some other different type of product, stone, composite, whatever it might be, that would protect the lower half of the house here, just the bottom 3 feet. So that was the initial plan. And we came in with the idea of putting in this wolf portrait siding, which we'll talk about in a second, on the bottom 3 feet. But then as we got into it, they had problems with the manufacturer of these doors. We're supposed to replace them for them. There was some waterproofing challenges with how that installer did that work that we weren't really thrilled with. And at the end of the day, we really wound up recommending that we need to take the siding the rest of the way off. We need to waterproof the doors correctly and then put something else back. And whether we put board and batten back or we go back with the wolf. So the decision ultimately was, all right, let's run the wolf all the way up. So we did that change order, and that portion of the project is now complete. The doors are in. I'm still not totally thrilled with how the manufacturers, installers put things together, but that's out of my hands now. So we've got the light blocks in. We've got the portrait siding up. We've come up with a water table system here with a piece of bed molding and a water table and a drip cap, and that drip cap runs up and behind the house wrap of the other board and batten siding, so any water that gets behind that siding comes down out in front of this. Anything that would ever get behind here comes out on top of this J pocket, which is what this is, and would have to be forced to come out and down the side. And so I think the guys have done a really phenomenal job of making sure that we've done everything in our power to make sure it's not just done, that it's coat built, and it's going to last nicely forever. They're forever home. So the next job is just to kind of clean up. The installer had used some window tape and some things that which wasn't the way this should have been done. They didn't use a nailing fin. Some other challenges here. So we're going to clean this up, get a little caulk in here, and make that pretty, and then finish putting things back together. So this really came out nice. I'm really happy with the way this product goes together. And let me just kind of give you a brief tour of this wolf portrait siding. So they give you these seam plates, and anywhere that you're going to make a joint between 2 pieces, now I got this oriented vertically just so I can hold it for you. Anywhere that you're going to have these pieces, you're going to take the seam plate, and that goes in, and they have a special adhesive that joins this together so that you're protecting water from getting back there as best you can, and kind of tying those 2 pieces together so that they don't separate. Now, if you look at it from this angle, you can see that any water that does get down here is not going to necessarily go somewhere helpful. So let's set up the next piece. So here's our nail fin. This is the nail fin from the bottom piece. All right, down the ground is that way. We got our nail fin here. This piece actually latches onto the top of that, which is great, that's good. And now we put our seam plate. Now what you'll notice, any water that gets down behind that seam plate is actually able to get down behind that next piece of siding. So not totally thrilled with that method, that part of this system. With vinyl siding, you have some overlap there. But this is how this wolf portrait goes together. So you're gonna cover your nail fins, it sets down on top, and you've got your seam plates that you have to glue in anywhere that you're gonna have an open joint in the field. So what our guys worked pretty hard to do is to reduce the number of seams that we were gonna have to put into this product. So you'll notice that we didn't have any gaps in this vertical. There's no gaps in this vertical here. The only place that we're gonna wind up with a seam, we've got one here above this door. We've got another in the top course here. And so it's really on just these long runs is the only places where we had to throw them. But again, we wanted to make sure that we had this in here. Now, where's the belt and suspenders part of this? Well, that's where the blocked house wrap comes in. And that's a product that we showed you on a prior video that had all sorts of dimples that allows for rain to be able to get down behind this. So any water that does happen to get in there has a path to daylight, has a path to get to the bottom and get out where it's beyond that cement pad at the bottom. So our recommendation to the homeowner is still, you need to drop this patio 8 inches. We don't want to have standing water, snow, especially when you're on the north side of the house where you don't get any sunshine. We don't want that water to have the ability to get down underneath and run back in under the stud wall of the house, under the plate, under the doors, any of that. So this is coming together nicely. Top comes down, the guy's just gonna finish up. Michael's working on some of the sealant and caulks to just kind of clean up just little cracks and crevices and make things look pretty. And then the next step next week is to get in here with the stucco team and start rebuilding this corner and then sealing everything up, and then we'll probably have to get some paint matched in order to paint the outside of this so that everything ties back together when we're done. So can't say I'm totally thrilled with the wolf portrait siding in general. It scratches real easy even with just your fingernail on it. It tends to mar. I showed you what I showed you with the seam plate. So there may be applications where it's good. I just don't know that I'm super excited about it. It's a good product for what it is, and I think it's going to last a long time. I'm just concerned about some of those waterproofing components, as we always talk about belt and suspenders, wanting to make sure that we're going to have continuous seam. And if that glue does everything it's supposed to do and it holds up, great. But if that glue fails and water gets back there, then we're really counting on that blocked house wrap to bring that down and out to daylight at the bottom. So that's the update here in Kennet Square, Pennsylvania. The next couple steps here, the guys are going to finish caulking, sealing everything up, cleaning things up. We'll get the stucco done and then see if the homeowner wants the original lights put back on or whether they've selected some new light fixtures to put on the back. And that's going to button things up and solve this water problem for them. And it's back to the landscaper to finish what they're going to work on as far as putting that dirt back how they want it and making sure that the downspout drains are in place correctly, and just kind of cleaning up that whole side of things. And whether they wind up with a retaining wall there or whether we put some sort of a drain panel, drain screen, mirror drain up against the house to protect the house before the dirt goes back against it. Those are all choices. Personally, we'd like to see that left open, or worst case, maybe you fill it with stone so it drains real easy. But I don't want to see dirt back up against that area of the house if we can at all help it. So this is Drew in beautiful Kennet Square, Pennsylvania. If we can solve a problem for you, there's nothing our team doesn't do. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, anything on the interior home, remodel your kitchen, renovate your bathroom, finish your basement, plumbing, electrical, drywall, spackle, paint, build you a custom dream house, an addition, a garage. Our team quite literally does it all. We are a licensed Pennsylvania home improvement contractor number 88078 and in Delaware 10490. We have a dedicated office staff standing by to answer your calls weekdays, 9:30 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at 484-748-0008. Choose option 2 for Cope Built and extension 2 for new projects, and our team will be happy to assist you. If there's a problem we can solve, take a picture of it, send us to us right here on our Facebook page. Click that message us button, send those photos to us, and our team will be happy to assist you with that. If you're watching on YouTube, we hope that you're enjoying Forever Home with us. We try to do 2 to 3 updates a week. If you'd like to get notified about those updates, hit that subscribe button and click that notifications bell, as we're working very diligently to help educate you on the kind of questions that you need to be asking about these home repair products when you're interviewing a contractor for work at your home. So we hope you've enjoyed this. We'll catch you on the next edition of Forever Home. My name is Drew in Kennet Square, Pennsylvania. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now.